Should I pour?
Oh yeah, pour it up. I almost forgot. I was gonna tell you to pour that up first.
Oh, ASMR. How's that sound?
Nice, crispy. Thank you.
Cheers. Well, not really though.
Cheers for Scare B&B.
Scare B&B.
Okay. Well, that sounds crazy when you put it on the table.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like boing, 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 boing.
Oh, maybe it's traveling up.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool.
Every time something hits the table. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. It like breaks.
Cheers.
Shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Hello, everybody. Oh my God, this is something new.
This is cool.
This is cool.
Looks cool.
Yeah, I love it. Welcome, everybody. As you can see, this is something new that's going on in my channel, which is our podcast.
Yes.
Which we have been talking for a very long time about, and it's been in the works, like, quote unquote works.
Yeah. We've had conversations about what the format would be, and then you kind of just said, hey, this is what I want to do, and you're just going to be there. And I was like, oh, totally, let's just do that.
And not even just, this isn't going to be the same every time. It could be like, sometimes you can do it. Yeah. Sometimes I could take the reins. Like, we could just go back and forth. So,
yes.
But yes, welcome to the podcast where we're going to have a lot of different topics, but they're all going to be related to what I do here on my channel. So I hope that you guys are excited for this new, I don't know, segment.
Yeah, I'd say just series.
Like
it's a series, right?
Yeah. So just here on my channel, I was excited to do this, especially because Brandon and I have always just talked about like how we can go back and forth with each other and like banter.
Yeah.
And I feel like this would be like a good new thing to add to my channel, since I feel like I have done the same things over and over for a while. So it's going to be fun. But today I'm going to be telling Brandon about a specific show that some of you may or may not be familiar with. And I'm just going to kind of give him the facts about it. And then since he knows about movies, I feel like he's going to be able to give me insight on things too, just based on the people that are in. I'm being very vague.
Yeah, she's been telling me, I can't wait to tell you about this because there's movie references in there, or like references to directors, Yeah. And she's like, but I can't say anything. I'm like, well then don't psych me up like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm anticipating it.
Yeah. He's like, I kept bringing it up and being like, oh, and this is going to be, never mind, because I can't tell you anything.
Give me something.
Yeah.
But it's best.
You guys will see as we go on. So I'm basically just going to be telling Brandon about it. I'm reading off of a script here that I put together based on an article that I found. So that's what we're doing today. So if you are interested in continuing to listen or watch more of these episodes, and you're going to hear that a lot.
Yeah, there's going to be heat running through the house. So
yeah,
sorry.
So
it's not a perfect production yet. But
yeah.
we're getting it going.
We're trying to what do you call it? Like,
get it off the ground?
Yeah.
Like it hit the ground running? No. Dude, just setting all of this up, it took a lot longer than you'd think.
Yeah, so fingers crossed that we will get like the hang of it later as time goes by. All right, so you guys will see it in the title, what we're going to be talking about. So I won't say it yet. I'll just read it off to Brandon.
Yeah.
And tell you guys about it too. You guys already saw.
We got some bubbly.
We got some bubbly. This is some Prosecco, so hopefully it doesn't make me burp too much.
It will.
And I keep like pausing to burp, but
it'll add to the ambiance.
I'll put it right there.
Okay.
All right, let's get into it. right. So I typed this out.
Okay.
I said, today I will be telling Brandon about a particular show which is said to be credited for launching the careers of some of Mexico's most illustrious directors.
Okay.
Including...
Can I guess? Can I just say one director who I think maybe?
Uh-huh.
Is it Alejandro Inarritu?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's all I got. Guillermo? Guillermo del Toro? Yeah. Okay.
Including Alfonso Cuarón.
Oh, come on! Sorry. Is that too loud?
It should be fine.
I should have said that.
Guillermo del Toro and Emmanuel Lubezki. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I don't.
Emmanuel, a.k.a. El Chivo Lubezki.
Damn. I should have said Alfonso Cuarón. Come on, it's right there. He directed the best Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he has a lot of well-known directed movies that he's done. Mm-hmm. So those are the directors.
Okay.
And it's all thanks to a spooky 80s anthology series called La Hora Marcada, or The Marked Hour in English, which was broadcasted on Televisa from 1987 to 1990. And La Hora Marcada seemingly came out of nowhere in a television landscape otherwise dominated by predictable telenovelas and cringe-inducing variety shows. The premise was simple. Each episode would stand on its own, giving the directors and writers total freedom to explore creepy visual atmosphere, terrifying premises, and social themes within the loose boundaries of the sci-fi and horror genres. So, consisting of over 100 chapters or episodes, the episodes were unified only by the apparition of a death-like figure referred to as Mujer de Negro, or the Lady in Black. So she's basically like somebody who is reoccurring in every single episode.
Okay.
That's like the only thing that's tying.
Is that like La Llorona?
Kind of, but like this lady in the episodes is literally just a lady wearing a dress that's black with like a veil.
Is this based off any Spanish or Hispanic or Mexican folklore?
There is like some elements of it.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah. What was I saying? Which pretty much means, as I said, that this was the only figure that was sort of tying all the episodes together in a way. One could say the show was comparable to Twilight Zone or even Black Mirror. And La Hora Marcada borrowed freely from literature, American cinema, and Mexico's own folklore tradition, and left its mark on a generation of Mexican children who to this day clamor for a definitive DVD collection of the series. Because currently there's no place to watch it, like, other than like people's, I don't know, maybe they recorded it on somewhere and then they posted it on YouTube, but the YouTube versions of it are absolute garbage trash.
Okay. Which is what you're going to show me today?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You're going to see it, like, audio, awful.
Yeah.
You can't understand half of what's going on.
If there's anything that I love more, it's watching a movie in its native 360p. That's what I like, yeah.
Oh, okay. But beyond its cult value, La Hora Marcada is credited with providing a no rules or restrictions audiovisual laboratory for promising young directors at a time when the national film industry was hitting rock bottom. Among the numerous directors associated with the series, classmates Alfonso Cuarón, which is the director of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Gravity, Roma, Pan's Labyrinth, Children of Men.
¿Y tu mamá también?
I think so.
Or is that Alejandro?
I forget.
It might be Alfonso Cuarón, but all right.
Yeah, to name a few, those are some of the ones that he's directed.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel Lubezki, who directed The Revenant, Sleepy Hollow, Meet Joe Black, and a series of unfortunate events.
Lubezki, you're saying directed Revenant?
Mm-hmm. That's what it said when I looked it up.
Shouldn't it? I thought that was Alejandro Inarritu.
Maybe they co-directed?
Could be, yeah. I didn't watch that one.
It was on his list of movies that he directed.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe he was a co-director. I have no idea how that works.
Cool. Yeah. I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm just not familiar with his work.
He's done like a few things like that.
Cool.
So yeah, Sleepy Hollow, Meet Joe Black, and A Series of Unfortunate Events. And then Luis Estrada, who made their way to La Hora Marcada soon after graduating from UNAM's Centro Universitario de Estudios Cinematográficos, or CUEC, which is just their like cinematography university.
Okay.
In part thanks to a sympathetic professor named Juan Mora Catlet, who also directed several episodes. I think he like got them in to doing that. Like he got them to be able to direct episodes on this show.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
he's got connections.
Yeah, because he's a professor at UNAM, so I guess somehow he knew people.
Oh, okay.
Who were getting this show together.
And they just happen to be some of the most influential directors of this generation.
And at the time they weren't, because they were just like graduated from school.
I'm trying to figure out where Guillermo fits in all this, because he hasn't been introduced yet, right?
Yeah, but he was part of all of this too.
That's so cool.
I know. And then so the Cuarons made their debut on the show with the 1989 episode A veces regresan, or sometimes they return, an adaptation of King's 1974 short story Sometimes They Come Back, even though King's name is nowhere to be found in the credits. It's a loose adaptation, but one that keeps broad strokes of King's story, a tight, disturbing tale of childhood trauma and supernatural revenge. Once production had begun, Cuarón recalls a stimulating conversation with a jolly tapatio who concluded a long reflection on the work of Stephen King by flatly asking Cuarón why his adaptation of a King short story was so terrible.
Wow.
That jolly...
Jeez.
I know.
Say how you really feel. God.
And no, but after watching that episode, I was like, okay.
Got some work.
I was like, I understand why he said that.
Do we know how old he was at the time?
I didn't look that up.
Okay.
But
I'd be interested to know.
It was like, I'm guessing maybe they were like 20s. I have no idea.
Okay.
Because, I mean, this was the 80s, and it seemed like they had just graduated university. So
interesting.
Yeah. That jolly but brutally honest man was none other than Guillermo del Toro. And their somewhat frank introduction was the beginning of a lifetime of collaboration and friendship between the two.
That's so cool. It's like getting the Avengers together. It's just like of Mexican directors.
I know.
That's so cool.
And they all like worked together on this. I didn't even know.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, Del Toro is credited with dreaming up the original story for the episode De Ogros, or Ogres.
Huh?
It's just called Ogres.
Oh, okay.
That's the episode, one of the episodes for the show. And it was believed by many to be the greatest of the series' 112 episode run, which told the story of a young girl who finds solace from her abusive household in a kind ogre who lives in the sewer system. If that sounds familiar to anyone, it's because many believe it to be an early iteration of what would later become Pan's Labyrinth.
I thought you were going to say Shrek.
That would be...
I was like, I don't see the connection, but keep going.
Like, right.
It would more likely be like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles than it would be Shrek. But I was like, is she going to say Shrek?
No.
She said ogre. I don't know.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Yeah. Only The Ogros was written and directed by Cuarón. So, but they still... Cuarón worked on Pan's Labyrinth too.
Yeah.
So, I was like...
Yeah. I guess I didn't know that, but in what degree did he do work on Pan's?
Well, I think there was like directing for it too.
So he are you sure?
Well, they both, like for both directors, Pan's Labyrinth came up on it.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's wrong. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he did help with the production of it.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Okay.
In total, Cuarón directed 6 episodes of the series, taking the opportunity to dream up tricky cinematic sequences in the midst of rushed on-location shooting schedules and a low budget. In a recent Tribeca Film Festival panel with Emmanuel Chivon Lubeski, the duo recalled how they would look for one single shot that could make the otherwise low-budget endeavor worthwhile. And indeed, a glance at the Cuarón-directed episode, A veces regresan, gives a sense of exactly what that meant. This, of course, was the episode that inspired Cuarón's lifelong friendship with Del Toro. And one can certainly sympathize with Del Toro's criticism when faced with the excessive soundtrack and somewhat stiff performances. Nevertheless, the episode's hallucinatory opening tracking shot betrays a truly visionary talent reinforced by visually complex montages and even a lively chase sequence. Once you watch the episode.
Okay, I can't wait to see this.
All in all, this story of a tragic death at an amusement park followed by a ghostly visitation 25 years later isn't exactly Cuarón's best work. But over 20 rough minutes, we see all the seeds of Cuarón's unique cinematic vision. And now I will show you a clip of the start of this episode.
Yeah.
Because after I watched this, I understood Guillermo's criticism of Cuarón and this, because I don't know what Cuarón was thinking with the music choice, where he was putting the music, and like I don't know who edited this also.
I feel like Cuarón is a very interesting director because he is, of course, a very great director. And he always has a vision in his movies. You feel like if you even take the Harry Potter movies as an example, I'm not saying that that's the only example there is, but if you take those movies and you just look at his, like you can tell his stamp is on there between like a David Yates. I mean, a Chris Columbus, you can kind of tell. But he definitely has the most distinguished voice out of them all. And the most interesting thing about that movie that people always meme is the final shot of Prisoner of Azkaban. Which is, it's that freeze frame of Harry riding the firebolt out, and then it's just interesting choices like that. Which no other director would be like, that's a good shot. But the fact that Cuarón was like, that's the final shot I want from my movie. I think that's what makes him very interesting, unique. So if it's going to be like that, if it's just going to be like interesting choices like that, I can't wait to see if they're considered bad. Like, do you think they've just, like, maybe it was for an audience that wasn't ready for it at the time, or do you think it's just objectively bad?
I feel like for the most part, it's objectively bad because it's just, like, I feel like the episode is kind of just, like, all over the place with, like, the shots that he decided to add, and then, like, the lack of context because you don't even understand what's happening. And you're just like, there's just like so many things that don't make sense for it. And I'm only gonna show you like a little clip, and then I'm gonna explain what the episode is about, because as I said before, it's said to be an adaptation or like inspiration from one of Stephen King's short stories that he did. And there was actually also a movie, and then I read like what the description was of that movie, and I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of like the same thing. But for the episode itself, like the way that it was directed and the way that the whole thing played out, I was so confused. And I had to go.
Because they're in an anthology series, right? So it's just like
they have to like get to the point fast. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Would you call it like a Tales from the Crypt or like a Goosebumps sort of show?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they said it, like you could compare it to Twilight Zone or Black Mirror, where it's like individual directors taking their episodes and their stories and then doing it however they want. But yeah, this one is the one that's called A veces regresan. And I don't know if it'd be easier for me to like explain the story and then show it to you, or show it to you first.
I kind of want to see it first, and then you try to tell me what the story was supposed to be.
Because, and this is a 20-minute episode, so I'm not gonna show you the whole thing. As I said, we're just gonna kind of get the first part, and then that way you can listen to the places that he put the music. And like, just everything else.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm
really nervous. I don't know why.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
I'll just put it like separately.
Hora marcada. Did I say that right? A veces
regresan.
It's not important for me to know what they're saying, right?
And not really. You can't even fucking hear it.
Okay.
Half of it.
Okay.
¿Estás seguro? Claro que estoy seguro. Vamos, no seas bonita.
Okay, he just smacked that kid in the head. So they're going around a merry-go-round. He's just pulled out. I thought it looked like a bunch of pomegranate seeds, but I think he just had a bunch of rocks in his pocket.
This music is terrifying. And it's so overblown.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching like a Toys R Us commercial. Like, whoa, he's driving a helicopter. Oh my god. Yeah, these shots are insane. You know what? Take a freeze frame of this. It's the exact same shot from the end of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, it's like a playground,
yeah.
Or they're at an amusement park.
It's an amusement park.
Okay. Why do they just have free reign on this amusement park?
I think it's like abandoned or something.
Okay. They got onto the roller coaster.
It makes no sense.
So far, I don't see any red flags so far.
The music is creepy.
Yeah, it is. But it's a horror short, right?
Yeah. But I just like... This is just supposed to be like them having fun and this like terrifying music in the background.
Yeah. But it kind of does set the tone for it being a little bit uneasy.
It's so loud though, like the music.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, bullies. You got bullies. What is this hair? Dude, they're like they're like greasers from the 50s.
Yeah. That's what they look like, right?
Yeah. I don't even care what time period this is. I like to just think they dress like this.
Yeah. the chase scene that it's coming up.
Yeah.
The music in it, I'm just like, what the fuck? I know.
I love old school bullies.
They're like way older.
Yeah, they are. That could be one of their dads.
I know.
For all I know. And this is about the lady in black, right?
No. So
No.
I'm just saying that the lady in black is a reoccurring appearance in the show
Oh,
for
okay.
an unapparent reason.
I'm trying to figure out where the scary part starts. I also thought these would be a lot shorter. This is like 10 minutes.
They're 20 minutes.
Oh, this is part 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as I said, I'm not gonna show you the whole thing. Like, I just want you to kind of get like a feel for.
Okay. Let me know when you want me to stop.
Yeah, I think once they start chasing the kids, then I'll just explain it after.
Got it. Okay, so... Oh, okay. Oh, he just went straight to assaulting this child. He was like, hold my caramel apple.
Look at the song.
Is this supposed to be like tongue-in-cheek a little bit?
He's trying to murder him.
Oh my god, yeah, he's got like a weapon in his hand. Yeah. I feel like this would work for like a more experienced director, like a Quentin Tarantino, where you're playing just kind of upbeat music during like a serious tense scene.
Yeah,
It's a wild choice.
I know.
I wonder what Stephen King story this is supposed to be. What the hell? What the fuck is going on?
I know.
The bully just got shot in the head.
I don't know how it happened.
A gun just appeared in one frame, and then. But I think that's the mystery,
where did
right?
it come from?
I think that's supposed to be the mystery.
Yeah.
Is that who shot him?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Right.
I don't know if I feel like I have to see more to be like that was dog shit. But like.
But I mean, that was like the beginning of it, and it was already like, I don't know what's going on with that, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it wasn't a bad story per se. It was just like, it just didn't make any sense. Like, when you're watching the whole thing, and especially because of how bad the audio is, like, you can't hear half of the stuff that they're saying. Like, when there's dialogue in it, and then some of the dialogue is just like it's just like not something that a normal person would.
It was shot like a 90s PSA for like, don't talk to strangers. Yeah. Except it shows you what happens when you do end up talking to those strangers. They'll chase you underneath, like, I don't know, like a auditorium or what do you call those pews or whatever? Underneath the
I don't even
seats.
like,
I forget what they're called.
Like the bleacher thing.
Underneath the bleachers. They'll chase you underneath the bleachers and get shot in the head.
Yeah, I have no idea where the gun came from or who shot him or like what was going on. Like there was like no context in that, because then it just shoots straight into 25 years later.
What, really?
Yeah.
Was this supposed to be it?
No.
Stephen King loves time skips, doesn't he?
It was a short story, and then they titled it basically the same thing. Yeah. It's called A veces regresan, and Stephen King's short is called Sometimes They Come Back or something. I forgot.
Sometimes They Come Back.
Or Sometimes They Return or something like that. Okay. So that was like the literal short story that Stephen King had, and then they said it was like this. And that episode was like an adaptation from it. It's almost like the exact same story.
It feels like it was just like Cuarón's take on what it was. You know what I mean? Like, not like it was, but like it's like Stephen King's most iconic story.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it starts with like these 80s bullies, and they're like preying on these young children, and they go under these bleachers, and I'm like, was Pennywise gonna show up? But then it just out of nowhere, some kid just gets shot in the head, and I was like, oh, that's not paranormal bullies at all.
Yeah. So what the episode is basically it's there's these two little boys that sneak into the amusement park that's like abandoned or whatever, and there are three other teenagers who are there. They just so happen to be there too, and it starts off really weird because they're like just playing obviously on there, and then it cuts to the scene of the three teenage boys, and then the one with like the greaser hair that like starts it off, he all of a sudden says, "I smell children."
Like Pennywise.
It smells like children. And then I was like, what the fuck? Pennywise or pedophile. Yeah, and then like the other two teenagers like don't acknowledge it. They're just like, okay. And then obviously they cross paths, and then they start chasing them for no apparent reason. But first, like before that, when they're like talking with them, they're like, oh, have you heard of this story before? And then they start telling them like a fairy tale story. And the kids are like, oh, okay. And then and then they cut to, oh, have you ever heard of this other story? And the kids are like, no. And they're like, anyway, we're just gonna go now. And then they're like, I'm not done telling you this story.
So they're just like, okay. They just really want to tell these kids the story?
I don't know. Okay. And then they just start chasing them out of nowhere. And then something happens to one of the little boys that they don't show on there. For some reason, he's just gone. And then the kid that's in the final scene where like we cut off the video, like yelling out Sebastian, because that's the other little boy. Yeah. He doesn't know where he went. He just heard the shot fired behind him, and he just starts screaming his name. And then that's it. So the guy, the main one that got shot, like he's dead. And then that's it. It cuts to 25 years later. And 25 years later, they introduce you to like a teacher or something, and he's just like he's doing like a segment in class or something. And then they don't even really say who this is. You're just like, okay, who's this? And then you go see like his life. He has like a daughter that he's co-parenting with like his wife that he's divorced from, and then some like 2 other adults approach him like in his classroom, and they tell him, hey, Eddie's back. I think that was his name, something like that. And
the bully?
Yeah, the bully. And he's like, what? He was like, he's dead. And he goes, no, he's back. And he wants to talk to you. He wants to see you. He wants to like see
just
all
casual?
this. Yeah.
He's like, oh, Eddie's back.
Yeah. And
he was on
like,
vacation.
But he's dead though. And they're like, yeah, well, he's back now. So he wants to get us back together. And you're just like, okay. And then so the whole thing is about, for some reason, this teenager who had the urge to just randomly kill people for no reason, kill children, he like comes back from the dead.
So he was something like supernatural or otherworldly. Like the actual kid was, or he was possessed by something, or
no, it was just like the actual, like it was actually him, because all the other, like the 2 other boys that were with him, like they're already older.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing the guy that they approached was either one of the, because it's so hard to understand what's going on in these episodes. Like he was either one of the other bullies, because there was 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
In the video, 3 bullies. He was either one of the other bullies or the little boy. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking maybe it was the little boy, because there's 2 other like adults that come approach him and tell him that he's back. I'm guessing he's the little boy. Mm-hmm. So that means that the other boy that he was with probably got killed or something.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Huh.
It's really hard to put together, especially just the way that the story was put together in general. Like they're trying to give you all this information without really giving you any information.
Yeah. It seems like it's definitely them trying to set up like something supernatural or paranormal without doing any of the groundwork in the first episode, because it just seems like the guy wants to like bully these kids, and that's it. That's his one motivation. I never got the sense that he's a demon or something.
No,
that wants to like I don't know, kill kids.
Yeah, in the actual like,
'cause he has friends.
Yeah,
Pennywise didn't have like 2 homies who were just there going like.
I guess he was just wreaking havoc. And a lot of these episodes, it's kind of like one of those things where they're like, I guess they want you to think about it on your own, like what it could mean. Like very much Black Mirror kind of, where you're like,
what's the lesson?
What's the lesson? Yeah, but there is no lesson.
So, okay. That's stupid.
I know. It makes no sense. But that's why, I mean, I feel like Guillermo del Toro was like, what was this? And he also even criticized like Stephen King's story itself. Yeah. If he did take that as an adaptation for this episode, he says that this story is like, it makes no sense. Like, what is the purpose? Yeah. Because in Stephen King's story, they said that it was that the teenager who was like murdering kids, like after he died, and then they all grew older, he comes back as like a supernatural entity. For some reason, he's back alive, and he starts killing kids again. And somehow, the boy who was like terrorized by him, he ends up getting framed for it, for all the killings. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it feels unsatisfying.
I know.
To me. Yeah.
So I feel like that's why Guillermo was like, "What the."
But it's like, what do you do with? Okay, so I'm pulling in all the context that I'm hearing now, and I'm hearing it's like a first-time director, right? Mm-hmm. At the time, Cuarón is not the veteran director that he is now. No. He is a first-time director. He's probably in his early 20s, mm-hmm. and he's wanting to make his first feature. But to do that, he's got to do this short film or this anthology series. Yeah. And he's given one of Stephen King's lesser-known properties, which I've never even heard of it. What was it called again?
Sometimes They Return.
Sometimes They Return. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which sounds like a Goosebumps episode.
Yeah. It's something like called something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So he's trying to take something that already isn't well known for being a great story. Mm-hmm. And then he's trying to pull a story out of that he can adapt for the silver screen. Yeah. So like what? I think he was just given a bad hand, to be honest.
And so that's what they were saying. So they were saying that basically they just had to pull what they could with this production, and then at least have like one good scene in there that they could be like, this was worthwhile because we got this out of it. And overall, I feel like this episode, even though it may not be good, just the fact that you don't really understand what's going on, and the fact that it's kind of like being in a tornado where you're just like, this is scary. I don't know what's happening. And that's what makes it scary, is the fact that there's so many different things happening at once, and then you're kind of confused with the storyline. You're like, who's this supposed to be? Like, what's happening? And then it's all kind of going in such an unnatural way, because if this were to happen in real life, people would not react like this. Like, the two other bullies are like so casual about him being back, and they're like, yeah, he's back, and they're like like being fucking weirdos.
So okay, yeah, that's the other thing, is like there's no implication that they are also demonic or whatever.
Yeah, or just evil.
Evil. Like they're like these 80s cutout bullies who hang out under the bleachers for some reason and terrorize kids half their age.
They knew about what he was doing, like trying to kill these random kids, but they were just there like his sidekicks, being like, yeah,
that's
go
weird.
Do it. Yeah, it was so strange.
It's like they're cult followers a little bit. But they're like in middle school or high school or something. I couldn't even gauge what age they are.
Me neither.
Because the quality was probably like worse than 360.
Yeah.
There was at least
like 240.
8 pixels per frame.
Yeah, so that was that. So anyway, moving on from that episode, that was not great.
Yeah. I'd give that a solid 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's being very generous.
But that gives you kind of an idea of what this show is. And that's not even their good episode, okay?
Okay.
All right. For Del Toro's part, he wrote 4 episodes of the series and directed 5, with Hamburguesas, also known as Con Todo para Llevar, or in English, Hamburgers, or the other title for it is called Everything to Go, with Everything to Go.
Okay.
Often revered as his most inspired episode. A sort of ironic play at anti-capitalist allegory, Hamburguesas tells the story of a comic book illustrator who's inspired to make a late-night visit to a booming fast food chain restaurant called Rooney's, only to discover that the restaurant is staffed by an army of zombies. While visually...
Okay.
Yeah. While visually the episode is significantly more academic than Cuarón's sweeping cinematic style, the story is well executed and accompanied by plenty of touches that showcase Del Toro's own personal vision. From the ironically pleasant masks donned by the zombies staff to the episode's deeper allegorical implications. And this one...
About zombies that run a hamburger restaurant. Okay.
Okay, and the thing is that like when you just read this on its own, it's just like, it doesn't sound that scary. You just watch the episode, and the masks themselves, I was just like, ew, no.
Okay.
I was like, gross. And then the other thing is that I know they said zombie here, but you're like thinking like, oh, brain eating zombies, but I think what they really mean is like somebody who has like no...
The lights are on.
Yeah.
But no one's home.
Yes.
Okay.
So no like thoughts of their own will.
Okay.
And that's what it basically is. Yeah, this guy, he just like up late watching TV, and he sees a commercial for Rooney's, and he goes, oh, like I kind of want a burger. Like he kind of wants to snack on a burger. He goes to a restaurant, and he doesn't really see anything wrong. Like at first, he's just like, okay, the waiters are wearing like masks. And they're like cleaning up, just kind of doing their work.
Is this shot in 2020?
No, like masks.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, okay, that's strange, but that's like their theme for the restaurant. And then he's like getting his order taken by the girl at the front, and he's like, oh, she's like a little bit stiff, kind of like, hi, how can I help you? Like acting kind of strange. And then he goes, sits down, and he's like eating his food, and there's a waiter that comes up to him, like trying to take the cup that he has, like I guess cleaning up, even though he's not done eating his food. And then he like accidentally like throws a cup on the floor, and he goes, oh, and he like goes up to pick it up, and he's got like gloves on, like Mickey Mouse gloves. And then
Okay.
And then he goes and he picks it up and he's just holding it and he crushes it with his mittens and it goes through the mittens and it makes him like bleed. And that's when the illustrator's like, what the, like, what's going on here? And then the manager comes to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what's going on. Blah, blah, like trying to make excuses for it.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
He's a Disney cast member.
Yeah, it's so weird. And all the other workers are like standing around looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
And then just go back to doing their job. And then they're like, oh, no, it's okay. And after that, when he goes home, then he finds like, that was such a strange experience.
He's like, so I can't wait to go back again.
Yeah.
Because I assume he goes back, right?
Well, he doesn't go back like just to have a hamburger.
Okay.
So
he
goes back for another
interviewing
reason.
for a job, or
He's at home and he's reading a newspaper and he sees a picture of a missing girl. And then he's like, oh. He's like, why do I recognize this girl? And then flashback to the girl that took his order at the hamburger place at Rooney's. And he's like, oh, that's the girl that took my order at Rooney's. Yeah. And then when he goes, I don't remember what reason he goes to his pocket to like get his receipt or something from the hamburger place.
Yeah.
And to see like, I don't know, like it doesn't really tell you why. He like opens it and it says, help me. Oh. And it's like, it's the receipt the girl that took his order gave him.
Oh, so she's like a hostage almost?
Yeah, it's like they're
kidnapped?
Yeah, something like that. And then you're like, okay. And so he calls a number on the newspaper and he's like, hi, like I saw this newspaper article. It says that you guys are looking for this missing girl. And he's like, oh yeah, like that's old. Like we're not looking for her anymore. And then they're like,
you found her?
He goes, no, like you don't understand. Like I saw her. She's working at the hamburger place I went to last night. And they go, no, that's not possible. He's like, we took it off because she's dead. We buried her a week ago. And then she said, what?
Oh.
And
so
he's
that's
like,
what you mean
no.
by zombies.
I saw her. He goes, I saw her at the restaurant. He was like, I don't know what kind of joke this is, but no, she's dead. We buried her. And they're like, thank you for calling back.
Yeah.
And then so he's like, what the heck? So he decides to go back to the restaurant because he's like, no, I swear I saw her. She's not dead. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So he goes back to the restaurant. And he sees her again at the front, at the register. Yeah. And he goes... His plan is just so dumb.
Oh, did you just storm in?
He just goes up to her and goes, you left me this. Like, it says, help me.
Oh, my God. We watched a movie recently where they did that, right? Like, was it Cobweb or something like that? Where she immediately like, I don't want to spoil it. But, like, I hate it
because I'm just like, dude, you're at the place where she's possibly being held hostage. Yeah. And you're making it so obvious that she sent you a cry out for help.
Yeah, you jeopardize the entire situation by like putting everyone at risk, including yourself mostly. Yeah.
And so he's just at the front, and then the other people in the back are like, "Are you done ordering?"
Yeah.
Like immediately impatient because she's just standing there. She's like looking at the piece of paper. She's like, what would you like to order?
Oh my God. What an idiot.
And then he like, after that, he's like, the people in the back are like, why it's taking so long, you know, the people in line. Then he makes a scene. And then he's like, no, like, I don't know what's going on here, but this girl's missing and people are looking for her. They think she's dead and blah, blah, blah. And then the manager comes out and he's like, what's going on here? He's like, you're holding this girl hostage. And then he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And he's like doing this whole thing. He's like, I'm going to get the police here, the newspaper here. I'm going to let them know what's going on here. Because
at Rooney's establishment.
Rooney's establishment.
This hamburger restaurant. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's basically like the gist of it is the fact that this guy kind of finds out what's going on. Yeah. And then the manager like just straight up kind of tells him what's happening. Like he tells him like he goes, all the people here are dead. He goes, they're all zombies.
That's it? He just tells them?
He just tells them. And he's so like flabbergasted. He's like, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. He's like, you go tell whoever you want. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
They're like, they don't understand what's going on. And then
even the
girl.
Or even the customers?
No, not the customers.
Oh.
But the customers like literally could care less about the workers. And that's why they were saying that, there's like some kind of allegory with
it's like the allegory for consumerism, capitalism, how we don't care about
like
blue collar workers,
yeah.
and how we're all kind of like zombies who are just doing our day to day. And maybe there's also the metaphor for like, even when you're dead, you keep working. Yeah. Or it's like you're still owing money, you still have debt. Yeah. I see it.
Yeah, so
that's fun.
That's what that episode's about. But the imagery and all of this, and just like the whole vibe of the episode, it's what really makes it like just eerie overall and like creepy. Yeah. And I'll show you just so you can kind of see. But
I'm curious to see if the way he shot it is better, because the first one was rough.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really good quality just because of the upload.
Oh, he's got a neck brace on. Wow, this is really crazy.
No. The volume's up on it, right?
I hear like fuzzy sounds.
Okay. I think this part was just quiet.
Do I need to know why he has a neck brace on?
They don't even tell you.
Okay.
He's just like at home chilling, I don't know.
Dude, this is rough to watch.
I know. It
it's
gets
not even the
a little bit
cinematography.
better.
It's just whoever scanned this.
Yeah, it gets a little bit better later.
Okay.
It's just the beginning of this. I don't know. The tape was messed up or something. In the commercial for it. I think he was not happy with what he was eating. He was like, that looks better.
It kind of reminds me of Jack Stauber's Opal. Remember that little short? And she's like watching the little billboard outside. That little claymation reminded me of that. He's got a little pet rat.
He's like, I'm gonna go get hamburger instead.
And that doesn't matter. They're speaking Spanish. I can't understand.
Oh, what part is this? Or he's at the restaurant now?
Yeah, he's in line.
He's like sick. Oh my god.
He wants a cheeseburger.
Yeah. And a milkshake.
Okay. Oh, she's the one.
He's just like, that's it.
Yeah, he that to it.
He goes, that's all. And now he's filling out, like, tell us how we did.
I hate the mascot.
Right? It's scary.
It's a little yeah. For people who can't see it, it's like the palest white man you've ever seen, as if it was like a doodle. And he's got like cartoon Mickey Mouse gloves on.
And blonde hair.
And he just tipped over his milkshake. And yeah, he's got like perfectly blonde hair. And he's wearing like a white shirt with like overalls.
Like, let me.
And he's got this like uncanny smile. But it's like a Ew!
And he just squeezed the glass into his hand.
Yeah, and he's bleeding severely.
And there's the woman in black.
Oh, and she's a recurring person.
She just, for some reason, is in the background sometimes, or like...
Yeah.
No reason,
Must have been a friend.
He goes, come here.
Ew, that's creepy.
I encourage you guys to look at the video version of this so you can really see how scary this is.
Yeah. There's like more than just one mascot. It's like 3 Ronald McDonald.
All the employees there wear that.
Yeah, okay.
Except for the person at the register.
Yeah, and the manager.
And the manager.
I wish the manager was also in that costume.
Yeah, so he's basically just letting him know, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, And he took his card too. He took the card that he was filling out with the how did we do card, you know, like, or the
awful
customer. He's
you
just
guys...
like, let me just crumple it up.
Pretend this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's basically that episode. I thought that one was a good one, and that's the one that's either written or directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, that was Guillermo's. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought this was like Cuarón's second chance.
This was
because he did 6, right?
Yeah, and then this was for Guillermo. So he directed 5 and he wrote 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm. It definitely has his horror touch to it.
Yeah, it was so creepy.
Yeah,
I hate those masks. I was like, ew.
That's cool.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, ah.
It does feel like I was gonna say, so you think you can dance? Are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah,
like that kind of that. Yeah,
they're like eerie, but they're so like strange that you're almost just kind of confused the whole time. You're just like, okay.
That was uncanny though. I hated that. I think the mascots were the creepiest part of that, and then the one just where he's just grabbing the glass. Like something about that is just so unsettling.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like just from the first few minutes, it was creepy, and that's why it's so weird to like think about children watching this or like kids. But apparently a lot of people between like the ages of 10 and like up are watching this with their parents, and a lot of the people who comment on like those videos that they upload of the episodes on YouTube, everyone's like, oh, I wish they had a better quality of this. Like, I wanted to watch this. I want to be able to like understand what they're saying, because they said that they have been looking for the name of the show since they were like adults, because they were like trying to remember like what that show was, and they're like, I had nightmares because of this, like I had trauma because of this,
couldn't eat hamburgers for a year.
I watched it, and they said that it was like ingrained in their mind, but they couldn't remember the name of the show. They just remember that they used to watch it with their parents.
Interesting.
And they just said that it gave them nightmares and they were scared.
Yeah. That would unsettle me, just because I think I remember being scared of Ronald McDonald as a kid. And so anything that plays on just like the happiest place for any kid would be at like a playpen in a McDonald's. And the last thing you want to see is that bench of Ronald McDonald crossing his legs, and just, I don't know, something about just like a clown with like a permanent smile, which is kind of what you see on in that little short. Something about that is just I don't like, especially when they don't talk. Yeah. Like in the short, he's just like not saying anything, just grabs glass and just crushes it. I was like, ooh.
It was funny because he literally just went up to the table. He started trying to grab it, but he couldn't with the glove, so he just tipped it. Yeah. He was like, oh, okay. And then the guy tried to help him out with it, and he was like, no, I'll do it.
Damn. I'm trying to get employee of the month.
And then just, which is so weird. But there was another scene in there that's like way later on, after he goes home and like does the whole calling the newspaper number and all that. It's the manager walking, like they're all lined up, all the employees, and he's walking like back and forth between all the employees, and then giving them a lecture about how they need to have like the best establishment and that they don't have room for mess ups. And then the guy who ended up crushing the cup, he goes up to him and he puts a gun to his face, and then he shoots him.
This is the same guy from the first short, where we don't know who the gunman is?
No, he's the one killing everyone.
Yeah.
No, but that's what happens afterwards. He's like, what? You're done.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Okay, but moving on from that. All right, now we're going to go into Luis Estrada. Who has mostly directed like Mexican films that I don't think me or you are familiar with. I went through the list and I was like, I've never heard of these. Okay. So he's like, I guess, a smaller one. He directed only 1 episode also for this. But it was long enough to be in the belly of the Televisa beast that he would eventually put on blast as his box office smash La Dictadura Perfecta, or The Perfect Dictatorship. That's one of his movies that he directed. Okay. The episode was titled El Motel, the motel. And Estrada had the pleasure of working with Chivo in one of the series' most technically accomplished episodes, consisting of a hodgepodge
You got it.
of
Yeah.
American horror cinema tropes, from Psycho to Jason Voorhees. El Motel tells the story of a woman stranded on a country road with her drunk husband. Hours from the nearest town, she is forced to stay the night in a creepy motel where she is terrorized by a knife-wielding psychopath donning an oxygen mask. Throughout the episode, Estrada's direction is tight and effective, helped along in no small part by Chivo's terrifyingly atmospheric cinematography and complex camera movements. And now for this one, I was kind of a little bit bored by it because it is your very, like, cliche, like, this girl being chased around by somebody with, like, an axe. And you're just like, okay, like, it does have, like, creepy imagery in it. Like, there's, like, a couple of weird things here and there. And the fact that the woman is not being believed by anybody. And then she's like...
Yeah.
And then they don't even think that she came in there with her husband, because her husband ends up, like, getting killed. And then she can't find him. And then later on, she finds, like, him dead somewhere.
Yeah.
And she's, like, running around being like, you guys gotta believe me. Like, you have to come out here, like, help me find my husband. He's like, you came here by yourself. And she's like, no, I was with my husband. He was so drunk, I had to leave him outside. That's why I didn't come out into the motel, like, you know, where you register.
We just took a pee-pee break.
Yeah. You had to go pee.
Yeah.
Really bad. Cheers.
So, yeah, give me...
Okay, so...
a little more context. What you were saying earlier.
So, yeah, basically, it's just her dealing with this guy by herself. And he keeps calling her motel room and, like, just breathing heavily into it. Just, like, very, like, cliche.
Yeah,
you know? Very, like, serial killer. Like, what do you want? Like, who is this? Like, leave me alone. Like, that kind of thing. And then she's just kind of going crazy.
They're like, what are you waiting for? Like, yeah. Sidney Prescott.
Right. And then she's, like, running around the whole place after everybody else is dead. Like, her husband's dead. The guy who runs this place is dead. So she's just by herself running away from this guy who, for no apparent reason, just yielding his axe around, just being like cutting into the door and stuff. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Okay. And then she gets the guy's rifle, the guy that owns the place. Like, she ends up getting it from him after she finds him dead. And then the serial killer or whatever, he comes out from, like, out of nowhere. He's, like, axing down the door. Yeah. He steps in, and she, like, shoots him with the rifle a couple times. And he's, like, down. And she's like, oh, finally. You know, she's, like, fine. She's sitting there. She's, like, crying. And then the phone rings. Again. The phone rings and she's like crying. She goes, picks it up because she's like, I don't know who it could be. She picks it up and it's the heavy breathing again, even though she just shot this guy. And then that's just how the episode ends.
Okay, so it's like Halloween. It's like every horror film, right? It's like, oh, you think you're
like Jason
dead,
Voorhees and also Michael Myers.
Interesting.
They're like these entities that can't be killed for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They're just, their whole goal is kill people for no reason.
So it's not breaking any new molds or anything like that, or breaking any boundaries or anything like that. It's pretty generic
standard. And that's why when I saw that this director Luis Estrada hasn't had any like big hits or anything, but he was part of the original group of directors. Yeah. And he did direct only one episode, and it was co-directed with one of the other bigger directors. Okay. And so it's like he got help from it and it still wasn't good.
That's sad, because imagine they're like the hot girls of like the director world, and they're just like they get them down at the lunch table, they bring Estrada in. Estrada's like, oh, you guys all got here before me. They're like, yeah, have a seat with us, we wanted to talk to you. And he's like, yeah, what's up guys, what's up? Guillermo's like, Stop. I'll tell him. What's his first name? Luis? Luis? Yeah. Luis. Honey, this is a hot girl table, and you're not bringing in the heat. We've all got bangers. I'm about to make a goat movie. Like, oh, okay. How do you know? I just know. I can see into the future. Me. Look at me. I'm clairvoyant. Anyways, Luis, honey, you're You don't have it. You don't have the it factor. We're all going to be making movies that are going to be nominated for Oscars, and you'd be lucky to get a Razzie. I'm sorry.
It's just, it is what it is. Like, what can I tell you?
And he's like, oh, cool. Can we still hang out?
I don't know about
We'll
that.
tag you. We'll tag you in our post.
Like, but I'm not even going to be in it.
Like, what does it even mean?
We'll shout you out as part of the OG group.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah. That's like, man, like imagine having like a talented group of people, and you yourself might still be talented, but you're just not as quite talented as
it's like everybody else is a little bit more, because Luis Estrada, like, I can't.
You just gotta find a different group, bro.
Yeah, because
somewhere where you shine.
I don't know a lot of these movies that he's directed.
Name them off. Maybe I recognize them.
Que Viva Mexico just came out 2023.
Okay.
The Perfect Dictatorship. A movie called Hell. A Wonderful World. La Ley de Herodes. Something Bandidos. And La Hora Marcada.
Dude, no. I got nothing. Any actors in there that I might recognize? Maybe wrong to ask you that.
Let me see. Perfect Dictatorship was his banger, apparently. It's got Damien Alcazar, Joaquin Cosio, Alfonso Herrera, Tony Dalton.
Tony Dalton?
Yeah.
That's random. I recognize that name.
Flavio Medina, Silvia Navarro, I know her. Osvaldo Benavides.
No,
It's
I
a
don't.
comedy drama.
Probably big in Mexico, though, so.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of movies for over there. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's the one that he directed, It wasn't my favorite, but anyway, moving on. It says, but Chivo wasn't the only cinematography master to refine his eye on La Hora Marcada. Cuarón himself also explored his strictly visual side as cinematographer on the episode Smog. In that same Tribeca panel mentioned above, Cuarón revealed that his original intention was to be a cinematographer, and Chivo actually worked as his right hand on a number of film school projects. As anyone would expect, however, seeing Chivo's unique talent eventually convinced Cuarón that he should look for another profession, and it all worked out pretty well. Yet a quick glance at Smog reveals that Cuarón actually had what it took to be a great photographer, as he lights Smog's underground, post-apocalyptic world with dim, smoky silhouettes that wouldn't be entirely out of place in Children of Men.
Yeah.
And that's what, there's another episode called Smog that was also one of their most, like, popular ones for the show. And it's just that. It's like an apocalyptic kind of movie.
Yeah.
Where it's this guy who is, like, by himself in, like, this underground thing. And he was supposedly everything above ground is, like gone. And it's, like, polluted. He can't go outside. And his dad was the one that made this underground thing for him to be there even after he passed away. Mm-hmm. And after a while, he's like, I don't know, what if everything is okay out there? And his dad's like it's inside of his inner monologue, like his dad's voice. It's confusing.
Is it like 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah, because I mean, he's being lied to,
yeah.
I guess. Like, he thinks he's being lied to about what's up there by his dad, like, who is inside of his mind. Like, constantly telling him, I know what's best for you.
Yeah.
Like, I know what's going on out there is not good. But there's this computer that tells him that that there's no life out there, that it's inhabitable, and it's, like, the air quality is really bad. And then he tells him, but you said, that he's asking the computer, you said that the air quality in here is the same as up there. And he's like, yes, but we still don't know if it's okay to go up there. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna test it out.
Yeah.
And he goes up there, and I guess it was like maybe like a placebo effect, because he collapses when the doors open, and then the lady in black that I told you comes out occasionally in all the episodes. Mm-hmm. She appears and she tells him to wake up, that he's okay, and then he wakes up and he starts going up the stairs, and then you hear the dad's inside of his head saying, like, no, you have to stay here with me, you're supposed to take care of my body, saying that he's dead somewhere down there. And he just keeps making his way up. And he's like, I created you to take care of me here. Take care of my body here. So they're implying maybe that he wasn't like a real human being. That he was like some kind of creation that the dad made, like robotic.
Okay.
But he thought like he's maybe like an AI kind of thing. AI?
AI.
I don't know why, because I always want to say IA.
I
Now I question myself.
I
So that's basically the gist of that.
That's a cool premise. I
Yeah.
like that. I like the mystery of it. I also like that we have a little bit of ambiguity as to what they are.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that movie we watched, not 10 Cloverfield Lane, but sort of similar premise where they're like underground. It's like is it the son and the mom and the father, and then I guess spoiler. I don't remember what the title is. But it turns out that they're the ones who are being hunted down and not whatever's above them. Yeah. And like that's the twist. Yeah. Whatever that movie is, maybe we'll find it. If you do find the title, put it there and say spoilers. But that I really thought that was really creative and a good twist. Yeah. But I just don't remember the title.
I know, I can't either. Yeah. But that's basically what that episode is about, and it's like a cool idea. There's like really cool cinematography in it, and it's a concept that kind of gets you thinking. You're like, oh, what could he have meant by saying that he created him? Could it just literally mean that because he's the dad, he created him? Or could it mean that he's not a human being, that he's some kind of like robot that he literally made to be his son and live down there with him? Even after he passed, he needed to take care of his body underground. Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool idea that I feel like, just based off of what you're saying, it feels like it could have been fleshed out a little bit more to like, I don't know, maybe set up more clues, but then I haven't seen it. So
and
I don't
it's
know.
20 minutes that they get.
Okay.
So, you know.
Good enough, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like, you get the whole idea.
Yeah, and that's why it's fun. It's like Black Mirror episodes and like Twilight Zone episodes where you get like a little glimpse at this story and then it leaves you thinking.
Do you feel any, like, I just spit, but do you feel like with Twilight Zone, you feel like a sort of existential dread after watching one of the episodes of this show? Like, it's hard to tell because the quality is so poor. Yeah. So it really kind of takes you out of the experience, which is why I wish there was better rips of it or better like scans.
And that's what a lot of people are saying. So in conclusion, as we were just based off what we were saying right now, unfortunately for film buffs, La Hora Marcada has fallen into the dustbin of television history. The only one cursory and shoddily produced DVD collection available from Televisa. Oh, with only one. And then many of the episodes are available in their entirety on YouTube, but their low quality does no justice to the illustrious minds behind the camera. Yeah. Cult fans continue to rally around the cause of a definitive collection, but Televisa has thus far given no sign that they are interested in doing the work. Whether or not we may see such a collection in our lifetimes, we can rest at ease knowing that La Hora Marcada effectively gave the world a handful of the 21st century's greatest cinematic masters, and gave more than a few 10-year-olds terrifying nightmares along the way.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us those directors. And it's like, I was thinking Guillermo definitely has like the original copies or the original film that it was shot on. Like, I feel like there's no way he doesn't have that library of like his work. Something. Unless it's like something like a stain on his resume where he's just like, I don't even want to look at that. But I feel like he would be proud of like his humble beginnings and like, except Estrada. They all got together and burned all of Estrada's work now. I'm sure they're friends still. I don't know.
And I'm pretty sure he's talked about it somewhere, right?
Not that I've heard of, but then I don't watch all of Guillermo del Toro's interviews and stuff. But like, I just like, if you watch him and just listen to his passion for like monsters and lore and like, and his love for like horror, it's just, it's so addicting to watch because he's like a teddy bear already. Like,
yeah,
people, like he was referred to as Totoro in like the Set of Pacific Rim, which is a movie he directed, and he's just like known to be kind of like a softie. Yeah. But he makes such good horror because he has such a love and fascination with it, and a love for like not the underdog, but for like the horror icons that aren't necessarily the heroes of the story. They're the villain, but he always felt compassionate about that.
Right.
And so hearing that perspective and hearing his passion for it and the reason why he creates the stories he does, I've always loved that because most of his stuff has to do with monsters and practical effects and makeup and I don't know, like, but I've never once heard about his indie filmmaking beginning, and I've always wondered like what was his original stuff like, and it seems like he's just always had a good knack for storytelling.
Yeah, and then like getting like inspiration from just like the things that you wouldn't really think about, especially with that one episode, just the hamburguesas. It's just like, where did that inspiration come from? Right? It's just like so like uncanny and so random that you're just like, and he's obviously trying to send out a message with it as well, as most things that are of this nature, like this show specifically. But I also saw that they're trying to do like a remake of it. They're trying to come out, not with the original directors, I don't think, but they're trying to do like a reboot. That
would be so cool if the original directors came to redirect their stories that they did. That would be so cool. Just, I wish. Like, I don't wish that directors could revisit old movies that they've done to, like, redo them, like, feature films they've done. But, like, if they had a student film that they did, and if they could just redo it with the budget that they can afford now and with, like, the cast that they want, I would just love to see that, so it would give hope to, like, future filmmakers who are just starting a very low budget. See, like, this is what you can do with like a great budget or whatever, but it starts from humble beginnings and gives them some sense of hope and an idea that if they keep pursuing art that they can scale up and get the vision someday, but like never
and be
give
like,
up on
not
it.
Everybody starts off like being great at everything too.
Yeah.
You can show that, especially with this. It's
like,
just like
making fun of Alfonso. Look at Alfonso. That shit was weak.
Yeah, so that's basically the whole thing with this show. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun because it's like this kind of genre where I'm just like, it's not necessarily horror, but it has like those aspects of it, and it ties a lot of different things and different ideas to these episodes, other than just being like, this is scary. It's like they want you to think about different things, and they gave the directors like free reins, to just free reign to just do whatever they want, and be like, okay, let's see how this comes out. And then the episodes come, and you're like, okay, I see the vision, but
try again.
Okay, yeah, you're getting somewhere. And they have 112 episodes of this show before they were like, all right, we're done.
112 episodes to get it right. And
and they're like, okay.
That's a lot more than most shows get, though. Like 112 episode run. I don't know, maybe if it's different in how they do things, but in America, it's like you'd be lucky to get one season now. Yeah. Like I think shows back then maybe had a higher chance, but now with streaming, it's like hard to get anything.
Yeah, because it's hard for it to be picked up and then keep up those ratings. It's like, because there's so much stuff to watch that you're just like, how can I possibly keep up and then make sure that we can continue this series? Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, I hope that you liked what I shared with you.
I did not.
Okay.
I did.
All right, I will try again.
I did not like the quality.
Okay.
And I'll personally, and you and I both share this, but the first one was, I mean, at least what I saw was pretty crap.
Yeah, it was.
But it's the context behind it, the story behind it is more interesting than the actual. Well, yeah, what I was saying is, not to sound mean, I like what you showed me. Okay, let's start with that again. I like that you showed me something that has an interesting story behind it, but the actual videos that you showed me were not good.
Yeah.
Because the quality was really bad. And the first story wasn't great.
Yeah,
I know. You. But you asked me, you said literally, did you like what I showed you?
Oh, okay.
I did not.
Okay.
If we're talking about exactly what you showed me. Yeah. But I like the story behind everything. And I like the fact that we got to see the work of like genius directors and see where they started from. That's really cool because it reminds me of the Yellow Door Club or Yellow Door Society. It's like it's a Netflix documentary talking about some of the biggest directors in Korean cinema. Like Bong Joon-ho is like kind of like the main guy in that little mini documentary. And it talks about all these big directors and where they started from. They were all kind of like students working in Korea, and they call it the Yellow Door Society because it was a club that they would rent out, and they would just talk about films, and they would like rent films from America, scan them on VHS, and just replay them over and over until the tapes wore out.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and you're like, oh, they all like all these geniuses. They kind of just I don't know, were magnetized each other. They were just drawn towards each other, and then some of them blew up and some of them didn't blow up. Some of them like started teaching film and stuff like that. But I always think it's interesting to see like such big names in the industry and finding out that they started together.
Yeah, they came up together.
It's crazy.
Same thing with like the people from Pixar, like like their little group in their classroom that they started up, and then they all like got into Pixar together, and then they were able to like implement their like upcoming into all the movies and like all these little things. It's fun, and I really like that whole thing. So which is why I was like, oh, this would be like a really interesting subject for our first podcast episode.
Yeah.
So I hope that you guys liked like learning about this. If you hadn't already known about La Hora Marcada, now you know. And if you want to go watch the episodes on YouTube, go ahead, but they really, really suck. Okay?
Yeah.
Just so you know the quality. I think the best one was for Smog. The episode that's on YouTube was probably the best quality. But if they had subtitles and if they had better quality, do you think this is a show that you would want to like watch?
Now, I think I would watch just the good episodes.
Just like go like Google what's the best episodes.
Yeah. Like it just because 112 episodes is insane. Lot. Even if they're each 20, you're kind of like, I just want to watch the good ones. Because even Twilight Zone, I'm like, oh, let me just watch the good ones. Yeah,
well, I've watched the entirety of Twilight Zone just because it was like my comfort show, and I would just play it. Yeah, that's how I ended up watching all of them. But yeah, that's the topic that's all for the topic that we're discussing for today. So let me know in the comments if you guys have ever watched this show before, if your parents ever did, if you had heard about it before. I would love to know in the comments. But other than that, I think we are pretty much done with today's episode. Is there anything else you want to input?
I think I would like to know what people would like us to talk about on here.
Any other topics?
Because we're not limited to anything, right?
Yeah, we're not limited to cinema in general. But I mean, we do want to keep it into the horror genre and like scary, like spooky stuff.
Exactly.
Cryptids we can do, like anything like that. So if you guys let us know in the comments, and then hopefully also the quality at some point in the lifetime of this podcast will improve as we move on. So if this episode isn't 100% for our first try, like if the audio, because we don't know if the audio is going to come out good or not. If it's not the best, if it's too much of a distraction with the heater, hopefully we can improve our situation in the future. But for now, if this is, borderline perfection, then we'll just keep on getting better.
Basically, because she's having trouble saying it, if you have trouble with how the audio is coming out or the visuals, she's saying don't come back. Right?
No.
Oh, is that not what you're saying?
No.
Oh, I'm just kidding. It's a work in progress, and she's worked very hard to put this together, and I've worked a little hard to set it up, and it's baby steps.
It's a work in progress.
It's baby steps.
Yeah. These are our humble beginnings.
Yes, this is our
humble beginnings.
What was the first short one called?
A veces regresan.
She said.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you are subscribed and that you have your notifications turned on. That way you know when we upload again, not only with the podcast, but just with my regular weekly posts here on my YouTube channel. This will be going up on a Friday, just as the debut. It won't be like my regular video, since I don't have anything filmed for this week. So this will be our debut on this Friday. So happy Friday, first of all.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys come back and stay again with Scare B&B.
Scare B&B,
Scare
baby.
B&B. Ah! And if you don't know, we did that because B&B, okay, and it's scary. And Airbnb, or not Airbnb, bed and breakfast.
Yes.
Yes, bed and breakfast.
There you go.
I had to explain what our
Are we allowed to
what
say
our
it?
name. I don't know. I don't think it matters.
It doesn't
I wanted
matter.
to explain the name of our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys will stay with us again. And I hope that you enjoyed your stay.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next video, audio podcast.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. If you want, continue to watch our videos and come back for episode 2.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Whenever that'll be.
It's funny. I know we're just prolonging this, but we've been talking about it for so long, and it's funny that we're just like doing it.
I know, we're
And
just
it's
winging
like,
it.
Yeah, we're just giving it a shot. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
And then check out Brandon on his individual stuff too. It's always at the end screen, so you guys can go check him out on his channel.
Yeah, I have a Padawan where I haven't posted a lot on there lately because I've been more active on my second channel, which is Plog, Padawan, vlog, log, whatever. But yeah, you'll get to see more of her. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. All right, thank you for watching.
Stay scared. Bye.